Hello there and welcome back. So in this part we're going to work on some shelving just to go in here. Plus I'm going to make a few changes to the scene and put a little step in that in here. Off camera what I have done, I've just I made this tap section slightly bigger. But it's now leaning over the back there, so we need to tweak that a wee bit. But we'll come back to that when we start doing the texture and then the surfacing probably. And I've just doubled up them taps. Basically I just took one, copied and pasted it, and stuck it in there. So the bath taps you can see. Now what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to go to the poly mode, and I'm just going to go to the center here. I'm just going to make sure they're pretty much in the middle there. We'll go back over the sub D. Okay. So I'm going to put a little riser in here first. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to go over to top view just so we can see that poly there. Now I'm just gonna create a mesh. I'm not gonna name it anything. I'm just gonna just as a dummy. I'm just gonna drag that out basically. Okay. Now in this Z, this is basically the width here. Even though this is in millimeters, I'm going to put in 10 and a sort of a inch type sort of quotation mark there, and that'll automatically then convert it to sort of millimeters. If you want to put feet in there, you could put like 1 and do the little, I don't even know what that little symbol's called there, and that'll then convert it. So but a standard step is usually has a sort of a rise of about 7.5 inches. That's the bit you step onto, the height, and the sort of depth for your foot of a minimum of about 10 inches. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in 10 inches and just see. Let's say the step's a minimum of 10 inches, but this is getting out of the bath, so I might. We'll say we'll go up to this. Keep things nice and straightforward for ourselves. We'll go up to this grid line there, and then that will stop any sort of ambiguity there. So we'll just go over to the room mesh still. I'm going to turn on some snapping. We don't need this primitive object, this cube there. So I've got snapping on, and in the snapping settings I've got grid turned on. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go over to a perspective view. Now I only want to really affect this, even though when we extend this up it's going to sort of rock over the top of this face there. We're not making a game here, so I'm not too worried about issues like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drag straight across there. So this is basically our little step. Now what I mean about sort of dragging over the top is when we hit B and I sort of pull that up there, this poly still goes down to the bottom. Now if I was making a sort of an asset for a game engine, I wouldn't leave it like that. I'd basically bring this up so this was just one sort of joined item as opposed to this face going back beyond there. And now if I sort of hide this, you'll see that sort of block there's also got a poly there, which is not ideal. So we can delete that one anyway because that's never going to be seen. We can unhide that. Now if you want, you can basically just select that. You can delete it, of course, so you've got no problems there now. And then you could go over to verts and just select that one, sort of select round. Now hit the poly key, hit the P to make a polygon. Now you have only got these. So I know it only takes a second to do, and in this case I have done it, but you know it wasn't a true necessity really for this. But it's always nice to have clean geometry, so that's nothing too bad. But having said that, then look, we've got these ones which are going behind this block, and these ones which are going behind the block anyway. So you know you've got to draw the line somewhere. So also, if you can imagine this being you coming out of this bath wet, when you put your leg over here, you step on here, you're going to slip and then you're going to hit this concrete and you're basically going to bust your neck. So what we will do is I'm just going to select a couple of these edges here. Let's just see. And we'll select 2. Let's have a look. Okay, we'll just make a few more edges there. I'm just going to scale them just so they're pretty much uniform. Let's turn this snapping off. Now we'll see if we can do all these in one go. I'm just going to select these top edges here. We're going to hit the B key and just pull them out. Let's get rid of that rounding level. Sort of like that. And then we're going to select these new inner polys. And now I'm just going to hit the B key. And I'm just going to just a little bit, just so there's some sort of when you go and your feet are wet, you don't just have a piece of grip. Now we have got a few issues here, as you'll see, with these excess polys which are made from the beveling. So you can spend your time cleaning all these up. In fact, what will make things easier for us, we don't want to... I'm just going to make a bit of a sort of feature out of this. Just sort of put this in the middle of this flat piece of bath. Now we won't have any of them sort of issues at the corner there, and it actually makes it look a bit more like it was made to be like that, as opposed to a half-assed job, so to speak. So there's our little riser. Now I'm still thinking about what to do with this back wall, whether to have like a painting or something in it, but it's going to be above a steamy bath, so painting's probably not the best thing. But we need some sort of feature on this back wall, so I'm still thinking about a groove that runs behind the bath there, and then through here with sort of running water in. So I'm going to give that a wee bit more thought, and then we'll come back to it. So in the meantime, we're going to add a new mesh layer, and I'm just going to call these shelves. Now these aren't going to be anything too dramatic. These are almost a replication of this bench. So I'm just going to copy that into the shelves layer. Just Control C, Control V. Okay, so we're working in the shelves one now. I'm just going to go to the scale tool, and I'm just going to, let's go over to a side or a top view will do, just so I can move it into this wall corner. Basically I just want to get a sort of feel of how large it is really. Now it's going to obviously sit next to the mirror, so I'm just going to move it here for now. even this may or may not be the right position. And I don't really want to overhang in the bath. I sort of want it to fit basically between the edge of this mirror here and this bath. But so I'm going to scale it down a bit more. Okay. So there's a wee bit. Okay, so I'm just eyeballing this just so the distance there is roughly the same as the distance there. Okay. Now I'm gonna just make it stand out a little bit more. Okay. I'm going to turn my bench on again just so I can see the extents of that. So I'm going to put one roughly at the base of the mirror. Now, like I say, we're not too worried about this. This is just a sort of doodle. Okay, now I'm going to make a few up here. So what we can do, we can copy and paste these, or what you can do, you can use a let's have a look at what we've got here. We can clone it. So what you can do, basically, we'll put it onto one and see what happens. Basically, you click in the viewport and then you bring it up, and this distance here sort of signifies how the subsequent clones will be. So if I make it, say, let's go to a side view just so you can see. Now, every time you add a new clone on, that'll basically put the same. Okay, don't forget this is our ceiling up here, so you're not really ever going to be able to reach that high. So I'm only going to go for 2, but I'm going to space them a little bit more, maybe. Just like that. Actually, while I'm here, I'm going to scale them in the sort of this way again in the X. But I'm just going to click on this edge just so it doesn't really move that one too much. If you've got the snapping on, you can snap it to one of those sort of grid lines and that won't. Okay. Now, at the moment, as these shelves stand, they're not really going to take much weight, if you can see, because there's no brackets or any fixings at all holding these. So what I'm going to do, and this is quite a quick and dirty way of making some sort of fixing here, I'm just going to go over to a cylinder, just a primitive here. We're still in the shelves, and what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drag out. This hasn't got to be very big. Let's just keep the radius the same. Okay. We're not going to subdivide this, so I'm going to whack up the segments. That 20 is probably a bit extreme, but and then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give it thickness like that. Okay, now I'm going to move this into the sort of corner of that shelf, and also plonk it onto the bottom. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab that top face. I'm going to hit the B key, click in the viewport. Now I'm going to pump this through until it gets level with the top of that shelf. I'm going to hold the shift key down, click in the viewport, and I'm just going to bring it through roughly about the same as that. So we'll know now 3mm. Basically, we'll say 3mm, and we'll go 3.4mm. Okay, so remember 3.4mm. We're going to hit Shift, hit click. I'm going to scale it in 3.4mm. Shift click. I'm going to bring this up. Now we're going to eyeball this. We can measure it afterwards and fix it, but to be honest, we're not really going to notice it. So I'm just going to scroll up here. That looks good to me. I'm going to click. I'm going to come out 3.4mm. Shift click to the bottom. Actually, we can go right through on this one. To there. We're going to click. We're going to take it in 3.4mm. Like that. Shift click. And we're going to take it up again. We don't want to scale it, so we'll do Control Z. I'm just going to zoom in just so I can get the eye for the distance. So I'm just going to bring this up to there, shift click. I'm going to take it out to 3.4. By the way, I'm looking at the inset here if you're wondering where I'm getting this 3.4 from. And we're going to take it through. Shift click. I'm going to bring it in 3.4. Like that. Shift click. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take it up to the ceiling. To there. Now this one is obviously hanging from a ceiling, so there needs to be a bit more meat involved. So I'm going to shift click, and so I'm going to go up to 3.4, and I'm going to keep going 6.8, maybe one more, maybe I'll go up to about 10mm. I'm going to shift click and take it up. I'm assuming that's the, let's make sure I bring it up straight like that. So I'm just going to bring in the room block as well, just so I can check. Okay. Now what I'm going to do there, I'm just going to grab this. I'm going to just make sure we're okay. I'm going to move it just in a little bit more. I'm just going to Control C, Control V, and bring it down to the bottom. Space drop tool. Okay, there's our shelves. Now we're going to probably put something on the bottom here, maybe, just to make it look a bit more curvy, like these rails here. But I might make some little. Actually, we'll do that quickly now. We'll do it. I'm not saying this is how it's going to be, because it might. We'll just do it for now, and then we'll see how it looks. So basically, I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to come over to the shelves. I'm going to paste it in there. Now, this is just going to be a little test, just to see how we get on, so to speak. Let's go with polys. Make sure we've got that selected. I'll hit W key to move. Now we need to scale this obviously because it's going to be large. So we're just going to, let's go over to a side view. So I want to keep everything in keeping. So I'm going to scale it a bit more, just so it's sort of, it's almost coming into the middle, I'm thinking. And like I say, I'm just thinking out loud now. I'm not, maybe like that. And then we'll live with it for the first few when we get to the surfacing, and see how it maybe like that. Well, like I say, we'll have to just see with this one, I'm afraid. But I think it's gonna. Okay, we'll put that like that, and then we'll do Control C, Control V. I'm going to bring one. Let's go over to a front there, just so it's roughly the same. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Now these might want to come out a bit nearer to this edge, or in fact we may want to kill that round thing totally. And in fact, I think that's going to be the best. It's going to look a bit out of place if not. So I'm just going to select them two ends. I'm just going to drag them in just so they're gone. Let's just backspace, get rid of those, unhide that. Let's select, go to polys. We'll select that little foot thing there, we'll select that one there, we'll go back over to a side. Now I don't want to really scale them so they're bigger and they're sort of down upwards. And the Y just... Okay. Okay, I think that's looking good now. So what we'll do, last thing, we'll just move them just in the middle of the cylindrical vertical poles. Just eyeball them in quickly. Okay. Okay, so that's our riser done there and our shelves. We're going to start getting into the more intricate parts now. We'll start working on the light fittings for the ceiling, because I also want to put some light fittings. I wasn't sure originally whether we were going to have uplighters from the bottom there, or downlighters, sorry, from the top. But as we're having downlighters from the ceiling, I think it may look better having downlighters from the top there onto your... And besides, if you've got ornaments sitting there, which I'm envisioning there's going to be bottles maybe, or some nice sort of perfume bottles type things, having up lights may look a bit weird, but we can always do a test and just see when we come to the surfacing whether it looks bad or good or whatever. So that's it, I think, for this part. Like I said, I added and doubled them up, and also another thing I just remembered I did off camera is the mirror did end probably about there. I just basically grabbed those bottom edges, these edges here, and I've just dragged it down so it's nearer to the tap, just as a bigger area, so when you're doing your women are doing your makeup, you can see yourself. So okay, that's the end of this part, and I'll see you back for next part, and we'll take it a bit further. So bye for now.